afternoon. You're welcome and watching ABC News GH. This is the Midday News. My name is Abna Mante. Coming up, Court of Appeal acquits and discharges Minority Leader Kaisel Atuforcing in the ongoing ambulance saga. Of La Association and the Gadangbe Coalition against land injustice, against what they term as unethical capture of land by political entities. Teacher Trainee Association of Ghana is calling on government to increase the allowance amidst the CTEC strike. We will bring you more on this. Effective next week, trained nurses and teachers Education Ministry. Effective next week, trained nurses and SHS teachers will be recruited by the Ministry of Health and the Education Ministry. We will bring you the numbers shortly. Still in the bulletin, in business, 10 companies owe the Ghana Revenue Authority over 1 billion Ghana cedis in taxes. And on the international front, South Africa's former president, Jacob Zuma, has been expelled from the African National Congress Party. Thank you for staying with us. The Court of Appeal has acquitted and discharged Minority Leader Honorable Kaisel Atuforcing in the ongoing ambulance case. The Court of Appeal has set aside the High Court Accra on June 6th dismissed the application by Minority Leader Kaisel Atuforcing for mistrial and to undertake an inquiry into the conduct of the Attorney General in the ongoing ambulance case. According to the trial judge, the Minority Leader has not shown any statute provisions that warrant a mistrial in this case, nor to inquire into the affairs of the Attorney General. High Court is hearing an application from the Greater Accra Regional Command of the Ghana Police Service to stop a planned Gen Z demonstration against economic hardship. The protest, organized by several civil society groups, is set to bring over 2 million young people to the streets of Accra. The protest, organized by Positive Transparency and Accountability Movement, Arise Ghana, and Alliance for Social Equality and Public Accountability Ghana, is scheduled to take place from July 31 to August 6, 2024. The demonstration aims to draw attention to the severe economic hardships affecting the youth, which have led to issues such as drug addiction, dangerous journeys, and involvement in terrorist groups. Additionally, the protesters are voicing their opposition to heavy government taxes, including those on betting, COVID measures, sanitation, and internet data. They also intend to express their dissatisfaction with the perceived corruption and nepotism in the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration. Teacher Trainee Association of Ghana, TTAG, is calling on the government to take decisive measures to address the ongoing CTAG strike. CTAG commenced the nationwide strike on June 14, 2022, to demand improved conditions of services. However, after a month and 2 weeks, the government has yet to agree with CTAG on a roadmap of the implementation on an improved condition of service for college teachers. Addressing the media, the president of the Teacher Trainee Association of Ghana, Swale Razak, bemoaned that the strike has distracted academic activities and demanded swift action from the government to address the teachers' concerns.
The Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana demands immediate and decisive action from the government to address these urgent concerns. Our demands include resolution of the CTAG strike. We call on the government to prioritize negotiation with CTAG and find a swift and equitable solution to the issues that have led to this strike.
Meanwhile, the Teacher Trainee Association of Ghana has also called the government to double the allowance paid to its members and teacher trainees across the country. This follows what association described as insufficient in the current circumstances of the 400 Ghana cedis paid to teachers trainees. Addressing the media today on the CTAG impasse at the Accra College of Education, the president of the association, Swale Razak, said since the reinstitution of the allowance in 2017, the amount has not been increased even in the face of the rising cost of living.
The current allowances for teacher trainees is insufficient to cover their basic expenses and academic necessities. This financial strain creates undue stress and hinders their inability to focus on their studies. Ladies and gentlemen from the media, it will interest you to know that we wrote on several occasions to the ministry requesting for an increment of the allowances, because ever since its inception for the past 7 years to 8 years now, the allowance has remained the same amount, posing financial strain.
CTAG is mentioning that the allowance increment will help to alleviate the challenges they are going through. The 400 cedis allowance they receive is not enough to carry them through their education to become teachers, to teach students in this country. Agents and members of CTAG very soon on this issue of their students being stranded, and we'll find out how the dialogue is going with government and the ministry to see that their grievances are taken care of.
The current allowances for teacher trainees is insufficient to cover their basic expenses and academic necessities. This financial strain creates undue stress and hinders their inability to focus on their studies. Ladies and gentlemen from the media, it will interest you to know that we wrote on several occasions to the ministry requesting for an increment of the allowances, because ever since its inception for the past 7 years to 8 years now, the allowance has remained the same amount, posing financial strain to students. The current allowances for teacher trainees is insufficient to cover their basic expenses and academic necessities.
Isaiah Dokurong is a CETA council member. Isaiah, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon, my dear sister.
Isaiah, your students are stranded and they want to dialogue with government. What is the state of the dialogue with the finance ministry on the MOU document?
Yes, my dear sister, in fact, I will take this opportunity to thank everybody and your cherished listeners who are listening to this important information. As of now, CETA is having 3 layers. That is the grassroots layers, the council layers, that is at the middle, and then the top layers, that is the national executive officers. And your question, CETA problem can only be solved when council is aware that this is what is happening. But as of now, the meeting that we met with Minister of Education, Fair Wages, and then National Labour Commission, there was a said, underline the word, there was a said memorandum of understanding that was, prepared, which Minister of Education signed, and then that Minister of Finance was not there to sign, that his rep was there, and then Fair Wages too was not there to sign, that his rep was there. The rep was not having the mandate to actually do the signing. And we see that members, we have heart for our students. We know that they are our leaders. They are for the future for us. And we have our heart to go there. We were keenly waiting to actually get that particular memorandum of understanding that was signed or was prepared between CETA and then Minister of Education, and then the four listen, that is the GTEC, Minister of Education, and Minister of Finance. But up to date, as I am speaking to you now, sister, the bad news is CETA don't know where this particular memorandum of understanding is. The only news I am hearing from our platform, and from around 11 up to now, I have about 200 and something messages concerning that particular same issue. The President, Prince Ohenemba, has actually kept the memorandum of understanding to himself. No CETA member is aware. And the good news is that CETA will not call off the strike unless council takes decision concerning that, because the thing is for the council. Instead of the president, give the thing to the council, so that we peruse it, find out the loopholes, what either we are going to gain or we will not gain. Then we look at the nation at our heart and then do what is necessary. And the president is keeping it to himself. I want this information to go higher as it can go, so that everybody in Ghana will hear it and know the way the president himself is frustrating the union.
Okay.
He tried all possible best that we should call off the strike, which we will not do.
Okay, so Isaiah, if I understand you clearly, you mean your president isn't working in favor of your association at the moment?
The president is actually not working in favor of the association, and the reason is, if he is working in the favor of our association and there was memorandum of understanding that was signed and then they scan it and send it to the president needs to send it to the council. That is our decision-taking body.
Okay.
National executive officers cannot take decisions. The grassroots, as I mentioned earlier, that we have 3 layers. The grassroots, the middle belt is the council, and then the top is what the national executive committee. They cannot take decision. Grassroots cannot take decision. Council is to take decision. As I'm speaking to you now, the memorandum, the sign or the same memorandum of understanding, my good sister, it is sealed in what? It is sealed with the president.
Okay.
He has not sent it to the council. No council member has has seen it, so that to look at it and see the way forward. And then he said that he was going to call for a meeting, and the platform, council members turn against the meeting. That it's good that we see that thing, the memorandum of understanding, we peruse it to understand it, then we get preconceived ideas before we meet. And he's saying that unless he also present it at the meeting, which we are having a very, very, very serious argument among ourselves. This is a very, very inside issue, and it is a very serious issue among CTAG members. In fact, the president is not actually doing this good.
Okay. Well, Isaiah, thank you for speaking with us. We will be following up on the progress of this story. The Minister of Education, Dr. Yao Osei-Duchum, in a Facebook post today has said that the ministry will embark on a limited recruitment of teachers into senior high school. The minister, who is to present the state of the education sector at the Accra International Conference Center today, disclosed that the recruitment process will commence next week. He urged potential teachers to be on the lookout for details regarding application and areas of focus for the recruitment exercise. Peter Anti joins us on phone call to have this conversation. Good afternoon, Peter. Well, whilst we get in touch with Peter, the Education Ministry says that they will be introducing a limited application for teachers into our senior high schools. This will supplement the number of teachers who are catering to students in the second cycle institutions, and will mitigate the issue of teacher to student ratio. Dr. Peter Anti is on the line. Good afternoon, Doc. Well, we will go back and talk to Dr. Peter Anti, but we'll look at CTAG. The strike CTAG is on, and the problem it poses for our second cycle education. We know that well, Dr. Peter Anti, good afternoon. Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. You are welcome to ABC News GH.
Good afternoon, madam.
Sir, with the issue of CTAG striking, what are the risks for the colleges of education if the strike drags on?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your listeners and viewers.
Well, we seem to have lost Dr. Anti. We will speak with him. He was mentioning that we know the potential harm it has on students and second cycle education in Ghana. We will probe the question. We'll probe that further. Hello, sir. You're welcome.
The effect of strikes in the educational system, especially when we have students involved, students who are supposed to be in their final year and to work and complete their education. It means that you're going to have a distorted calendar, and that means that their graduation is also going to be delayed. So the impact of this, the effect of this, is enormous on the students. And that is why we think that it's important we deal with this issue as early as possible so that the students can go back to their normal lives.
Dealing with this issue as early as possible, do you believe that government has shown enough commitment and attention to colleges of education as compared to others?
Well, in relation to the issue at stake, I don't think so. If government had shown enough commitment, we wouldn't be having this challenge at this time. This issue started way back 2021, 2022, and all these past 2 years, CITAC have been going to strike, and then they have been admonished to call off the strike till the recent one that we are currently experiencing. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that is the point. It makes it difficult to admit or to say that government has shown commitment in solving this issue. Because when the CITAC won the arbitrary award, if the government had challenges with it, I think the best thing that they would have done, and all labor experts have said this, that they would have gone on an appeal to set aside or vary the awards that they have won. They didn't do that. So as it stands now, what the CITAC is demanding is lawful. Okay. And government is not ready or able to do that. And that is what is creating all these back and forth. And I was thinking that the last time they met the minister, there could have been a possible understanding where a roadmap would have been developed and then a clear guidelines given in relation to how this issue would be addressed. But they just met, nothing really happened, and then we were told that substantial progress has been made. And that is what we are still experiencing. The students are still not back to school. CITAC is still on strike, and we don't even understand what the the enormous improvement that was referred to is about.
With a council member of CITAC, he mentioned that there is a said memorandum of understanding that has been signed between CITAC and the ministry. However, the council of CITAC have not seen it and do not believe that their president is working in the interest of CITAC.
Well, the last meeting that they had, there was supposed to be some follow-ups. Okay, so if the president alone have gone to, the president of CITAC has gone to sign a memorandum of understanding without recourse to their entire membership, so you know how labor unions work in this country. Whatever position that you take, you have to run it with your members before you implement. And that's the same thing that happened recently with organized labor when they decided that they wanted to go on strike based on the challenge with the snake thing. They had to go back to their membership to agree that we are calling off the strike. That's the standard practice. So I don't think that if the president alone have done something, it would be binding on the entire body, unless the council of CITAC, the executive body meets and then they take feedback from their members. I don't think that what the president is supposed to have done might be any binding MOU on the entire CITAC body.
Well, what do you make of the demands from the students that the allowances should be doubled?
Well, I thought we were going to talk about the CITAC issue. For the allowance, my position or our position is clear. Students in tertiary institutions do not need allowance. You do two things for them. You either put them on scholarship, or they go for loans. They don't need allowance. So for them to even ask for more or increment in the allowance means that they don't even appreciate the fact that they are classified as tertiary students and they need to behave as such.
Well, Peter, the education minister has said that from next week, teachers should look out for some information with regard to recruitment into second cycle institutions to teach. What do you make of this? Few months to election, so many recruitments are taking place. What do you make of this?
Well, I don't have any comments on this. The minister is responsible for the Ministry of Education. He thinks that there are vacancies there. They are opening the portal to recruit others. So be it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Moving on to Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health has announced that recruitment of over 15,000 nurses and midwives will take place effective Monday, August 5, 2024. In a statement released on Friday, July 26, 2024, the Ministry of Health confirmed that Ministry of Finance has granted the necessary financial clearance for the recruitment process. However, this development has been met with skepticism by the ministry, by the minority in Parliament, describing the move as a political gimmick meant to influence the decision of electorates in the upcoming 2024 elections.
Per records available to members of Parliament, government has not opened the portal for general recruitment since 2020. And to all intents and purposes, this current opening is nothing more than an electioneering strategy to deceive graduate nurses who have had to suffer, in some cases, 4 years of unemployment to re-elect into power a government that, if elected, will wait another election cycle before opening recruitment portals into the Ghana Health Service. This political gimmickry with recruitment into the Ghana Health Service has precedents which can easily be cited. In the first term of President Akufo-Addo, Akufo-Addo's government, of which Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia was the head of the economic management team, general recruitment of health workers, especially nurses and midwives, was deferred to the period spanning November 4 to November 15, 2020, a few weeks to elections as part of the broad campaign strategy. Once voted into office, health service graduates had to suffer a similar fate of waiting for 4 years to be recruited into the Ghana Health Service, resulting in a poor healthcare delivery service owing to a high attrition of highly skilled healthcare workers, without replacement from 251,527 in 2021 to a low of 182,233 in 2023. The human resource management of Ghana Health Service under this government has been nothing but abysmal, to say. Records.
Perpetual Oforian Poffo is the president of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. Good afternoon, Perpetual. Thank you for joining us on ABC News Ghana.
Good afternoon, my dear, and good afternoon to your listeners.
Perpetual, what has your engagement with the government been like before this development?
You mean the issuance of the financial clearance?
Well, we mean the government seeking, the Ministry of Health seeking to recruit more nurses.
Okay, so if you had done some checks with the employing agencies, that is the Ghana Health Service, the teaching hospitals, and the child institutions, you would get the feedback that there are gaps in terms of staffing levels. And so the recruitment of nurses and midwives at this time is crucial, more so when we know that a number of our colleagues have actually migrated or emigrated out of the country. So those gaps need to be filled. And already when you take the terrain of the health system and the various levels of health facilities that we have, you realize that there are some inequities in terms of the distribution of health professionals, and that requires that we also get new staff coming in to fill those gaps. So knowing that our our colleagues who completed school, I mean the various batches, 2020 batch of nurses and midwives, 2021 batch of nurses and midwives, and even recently the 2022 batch that have recently also completed are waiting to be employed. The financial clearance that has been given for the recruitment of 15,200 nurses and midwives is important and is good news at this time. Although we also know that it's inadequate looking at the total numbers that are actually waiting to be employed.
Okay, as the 15,200 is inadequate, what are the total numbers at home currently?
So they will, if you put all those groups together, I mean 2020, 2021 and 2022, that it may be around 55,000. It is also important to note that the 2019 clearance that was issued, there were some leftovers and it was given to some of the 2021 batch. So at the moment for the 2020, we are having about 15,000 of them. I can't give you the specific figure, but it hovers around 15,000 who are waiting to be employed, which means that with the recent issuance of the 15,200, it should be able to cover those that are waiting in the 2020 batch, and then what will be left can be given to the 2021 batch. Our concern has been the recent statement by the PRO of the Ministry of Health and the communication and what these nurses in these various batches, especially the 2020 batch, are saying that they get that sense, and we also get it that then if you
records
are going
available
to give
to members of
5,000,
Parliament,
15,200 to all of those waiting without restricting it to any particular batch, then it means that there is the high likelihood that somebody who completed or somebody who belongs to the 2020 batch may not get the chance, somebody who is in the 2021 batch may not get the chance, and those in the 2022 batch may get the chance, which means some people would still have to wait more years. But what has been the practice is that when the financial clearance comes, it is given to the batch, the immediate batch in waiting for employment or posting, and at the moment is the 2020 batch. That is their turn. It's their turn to get the employment or the posting.
So, Perpetua, what is your association going to do to mitigate this issue, to make sure that the 2020 batch are given preferential treatment?
At the moment, I had the video of the interview of the PR sent to me today. I didn't watch the news yesterday. So I'm in a meeting now. My hope is that when I'm done, I will be able to talk to the director HR of the Ministry of Health. We have had a lot of engagements with him in the past concerning the recruitment of these various batches, because in such meetings we've gone with the leaders of the various batches and we've engaged not just the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Finance, and a lot of work has gone into this. And as far as we are concerned, it's the 2020 batch that would have been recruited at this time. So I'm going to get to him, we'll get to him and find out what exactly the Ministry of Health wants to do. But as far as we are concerned, the status quo should remain so that we don't have a lot of agitations and demonstrations coming from those who think it is their turn to be employed and then they don't get to be employed and then it's given to other people. We had such experiences in 2020, and it took a lot of effort to ensure that people have the patience that is required, hoping that using dialogue we'll be able to get them what it is that is due them. We, beyond even these nurses who have qualified and are waiting to be employed, we also have the 2022 batch who have went through a whole year internship or rotation or national service without being paid any allowance that is due them, their monthly allowances. And it's important that the Ministry of Health also pushes that the Ministry of Finance to release the financial clearance to cover their payments as well, so that they get what is due them. It is not fair for them to have worked a whole year without having anything paid to them, and it should be paid as soon as possible, not in bits and pieces, but in bulk.
Thank you so much, Professor.
You are most welcome.
Okay. Stay with us. We'll be back. Now let's go into the business news. At the Public Accounts Committee sitting yesterday, it was revealed that 10 institutions owe the Ghana Revenue Authority over 1 billion Ghana cedis in unpaid taxes. Out of the 1 billion Ghana cedis, 879 million Ghana cedis of these unpaid taxes is owed by 8 state institutions, including the Ghana Airports Company Limited, Gehog Distilleries, the Electricity Company of Ghana, and Graphic Communications. Speaking at the committee hearing, the commissioner in charge of the Domestic Tax and Revenue Division, Edward Apintinjama, said that with regard to institutional debts, the situation of non-payment of taxes has not changed.
That you mentioned, and some of the institutions, we are engaging Ministry of Finance as to the best way that we can resolve this indebtedness to the Ghana Revenue Authority. Most of these institutions have indicated to the Ministry of the financial challenges that they are going through. So we have a discussion with the Ministry of Finance as to the best way that the liabilities can be settled. And when that is that,
3 minority members of parliament have sued the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, and the Ministry of Finance over plans to grant tax waivers to 42 companies under the One District, One Factory initiative. The MPs who filed a suit at the Supreme Court want the Apex Court to suspend tax waivers, arguing that it will not benefit Ghana's economy. The 3 MPs, MP for Akachi South, Bernard Ahiafo, MP for Adaklu constituency, Kwame Agboza, and MP for Elembele constituency, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, say the move by the GRA is not in the best interest of Ghana. The 3 say that the tax waivers are inconsistent with and in contravention of Article 174 of the 1992 Constitution, describing it as unconstitutional. They are seeking the Supreme Court to declare it null and void and of no effect. This follows the government's release of a list of companies requesting tax waivers under the One District, One Factory initiative on May 20, 2024. In 2021, the Ministry of Finance initiated processes to secure over $335 million in tax exemptions for 42 companies participating in the government's One District, One Factory initiative. To have a conversation is a member of the minority and MP for Tamale North constituency, Honorable Alhassan Suhini. So we have lost Honorable. We'll speak with him shortly. But the minority is looking at the minority is looking at stopping this tax waiver in the first place. They argue that it does not do anything for the country's economy. The youth are demonstrating, and we will be going there shortly to hear from our colleague who is on ground to give us more information on why the youth of La are demonstrating. Hello, Samuel.
Hello, Abena.
Good afternoon, Samuel.
Good afternoon, Abena.
Samuel, where are you and what is the situational analysis?
All right, so we are here at the Aviation Center, the La Aviation La, where the La Youth Association has just completed their demonstration against government, what they describe as government encroachment of the La State land. What happened is that from the morning, we moved from the La Market all the way to the La Palm Beach Hotel to the Trade Fair Center and all now to the aviation park here at La, where some construction work has already begun at the aviation park. According to the conveners of this demonstration, the land at the La Aviation Park is part of the land that state and politically connected people have encroached. Among other things, they are saying that they can't and will not allow the encroachment of La State's land. And as I speak now, we are on our way to the Jubilee House, where they will be making their presentation of a petition to the president. The spokesperson of the La Youth Association, Jeffrey, spoke to me during the demonstration, and he told me that they are demanding two things. They want the resignation and of the Minister of Defense and the Chief of Defense Staff for the Ghana Armed Forces, who they say that are superheading or who are leading the encroachment of some state lands. The lands they mentioned include some at the 37 GVLA state in there. There's a GVLA office at the 37. They say the whole enclave where the GVLA office is stationed is part of lands that the government, the president, they say the president has assented and given the lands to the land. The Minister of Defense. However, the Minister of Defense and the Chief of Defense Staff of the Ghana Armed Forces are still leading their members and security people to encroach on this land. So as a matter of urgency, they want the president to call his minister, the defense minister, to call him to order. And if he doesn't listen and the encroachment continues, he should sack him or the minister should resign himself. They are also demanding the resignation of the Chief of Defense Staff of the Ghana Armed Forces as well. Some lands they also mentioned include the beach, the lands around the La Palm Beach Hotel, all those areas. They say that the government has signed and given the lands to the last one. However, some politically connected people are still taking these lands and encroaching on them and building their private properties, which is not supposed to be so. So what happened today, as I talk to you, the demonstration has come to an end. Just a few persons have taken the petition to go and submit at the Jubilee House. And they've taken the lead from here. We'll be moving to the Jubilee House to see what is happening, to see who is going to receive the petition on behalf of the president. And in our subsequent bulletin, we'll be reporting that to our
me. That was my colleague Samuel Nyimagbo. Sami is with the protestants. They are protesting that the lands are not for sale. The lands are not for sale to personal people. They are not for sale to corporate bodies. The lands are state lands, and they are going to the Jubilee House to present their petition to the president. They have mentioned that the Minister for Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, should be called to order because they are behind the sale of lands. We'll be coming to you with more information on this. Away from that, let's do some politics. With barely 4 months to the general elections in December, political parties have already saturated the atmosphere with policies they seek to annex power in the general elections. While calls have intensified for parties to abide by the National Development Plan for their manifestos, political parties are unrelentingly pursuing their agenda. But how well have Ghanaians resonated with some of these policies, and what impact will it have on the general elections? Samuel Nyimadbo has more in this report.
From the ruling New Patriotic Party to the unrelenting opposition National Democratic Congress, the emerging Nana Kwame Bediako's new force, and the breakaway Alan Chamantin's movement for change, Ghanaians are fed new policies at the slightest opportunity these parties get. The New Patriotic Party has so far led a spirited campaign, even as an incumbent party, as its flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has completed his regional tour and commenced the constituency tour already. Among other things, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has promised a digital economy with a strong focus on mechanized agriculture and the mining sector. His rehashed promise of a credit score system to grant Ghanaians access to credit to acquire properties has rattled many.
I said a few days ago that Ghanaians suffer a lot because everything we want to buy, we have to use cash to buy everything. In the developed countries like the UK, Germany, Japan, the United States, workers buy most things on credit. You buy a fridge, you buy a television, you buy a car, you buy a mobile phone, you pay small.
Seeking a comeback, the NDC has matched the NPP boot for boot on policy promises with its flagship 24-hour economy, a national women's bank, and a national apprenticeship program.
Our women are in trade, in commerce, and so on and so forth. And most of the time, some of what they need as capital for their businesses is as little as 1,000 Ghana cedis. And yet, they have no access to that credit. We had the Women's World Banking. And when this government decided to do the banking sector clean out, they added this important bank into the sector clean out and shut it down. So now there's no specialized institution giving credit to women in this country. And that's why we say when we come back into office, we're going to establish the National Women's Bank. And we'll focus on giving small credit to women in small and medium enterprises.
Even though its founder will run as independent candidate, the new force has shaken the country with mouth-watering policies.
2024 na afeni ebetwi container 1111 from Accra Harbour Ediaba Itema Harbour Ediaba Kumasi.
Alan Chamantin has migrated his ideas to his newfound love, the Butterflies Movement for Change, and believe the great transformational agenda with a strong focus on industrialization is Ghana's best bet.
If you go to some of the powerful economies in the world, most of the roads were built by private sector capital.
While political parties and presidential hopefuls continue to churn out new policies every day, some Ghanaians express mixed feelings about the party's ability to implement these policies when they win the 2024 elections.
I didn't vote them because this one they normally say it as soon as we let them know, then everything has changed.
I think it's doable. All the parties, what they have mentioned, I think they can do it. One way or the other, we've seen some leaders, they promise this, they promise like 3 things, they are able to do 1 or 2, the other one they are not able to do. So
yes, for NDC now, they are saying they'll bring some 24-hour economy. From my point of view, that 24-hour economy is still ongoing, but fine. But me looking at things, when you bring 24-hour economy, let me say for the banking sector, 24-hour economy, at night, robbers and
As the elections draw near, the big question on the lips of Ghanaians is whether these parties have the frameworks to implement these policies to the benefit of Ghanaians, or if they are just rhetorics. Samuel Nyimabo reporting for ABC News.
Now let's go into the world of sports. The ABC News Ghana keeps bringing you updates on the countries competing for the most gold at the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. Check back throughout the 2 weeks of events for updated gold medal counts by country. We'll be bringing you this. This table will be continually updated as medals are awarded. Below are the top 5 countries with gold medals on day 4. Japan with 6 gold medals, 2 silver, 4 bronze, and a total of 12 medals in all. France has 5 gold medals, 8 silver medals, and 3 bronze medals. China follows third with 5 gold medals, 5 silver medals, 2 bronze medals. And Australia closes in the 4th position with 5 gold medals, 4 silver medals, and no bronze medal. In 5th place is South Korea with 5 gold medals, 3 silver medals, and 1 bronze medal, giving us a total of 12 medals. So Japan has 12 medals. Japan has 12 medals and they are leading. The Ghana Premier League has released the 2024 and 2025 season fixtures. The Ghana Football Association GFA has released the fixtures for the 2024-2025 Ghana Premier League season. Kickoff is on Friday, September 6, 2024, where FC Samatex 1996 will open their defense of the Premier League title with an away tie at Dream FC. The first leg of Ghana Super Clash between Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Accra Hasufok will take place on March Day 13 at the Baba Yara Stadium, with the return fixture slated for March Day 30 at the Accra Sports Stadium. Now let's move into the international news. South Africa's former president Jacob Zuma has been expelled from the African National Congress ANC, the party he once led, after campaigning for a rival party in the May 29 general election. The ANC's disciplinary committee found Mr. Zuma guilty of prejudicing the integrity of the party by joining the opposition and has given him 3 weeks to appeal against its ruling. Mr. Zuma, 82, was an ANC veteran but fell out with the party after he was forced to quit as president in 2018 over corruption scandals. He has always denied any wrongdoing. Let's get into the world of entertainment. May 25 tragic accident which resulted in the loss of a 3-year-old boy's life has had a profound impact on Ghanaian actor Kwejo Nkansah, popularly known as Lil Wayne. According to his lawyer Margaret Mary Ejechum, the incident has affected both Lil Wayne and the promotion of his latest film, A Country Called Ghana. Lil Wayne was taken into custody after being discharged from the hospital. He faces charges of dangerous driving and negligently causing harm. Despite the legal proceedings, his lawyer remains committed to defending his innocence, stating that the theory of their case will change once reports from the Attorney General is received. The lawyer has reiterated their belief in Lil Wayne's innocence and will continue to pursue his defense. Let's take a breather. We'll be back. Recap of our top stories. Ato Forson acquitted in the ambulance saga. Teacher Trainee Association Ghana demands urgent government intervention to resolve CTAG impasse. Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana are asking for an increase in allowances. And Jacob Zuma has been suspended from his party. Thank you for joining us here on ABC News Ghana. I am Abna Mante. Do well to follow us on all our social media and interact with us. For more information and for more news, follow us and interact with us on www.abcnewsgh.com. Have a good afternoon.